It's Breaking the News with Des Clark.
I am Des Clark, and this is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. And we are back, and still socially distant from me this week. It's actor, comic and writer Miles Jupp, and with him is stand-up Jay Lafferty. And facing them is writer and comic Athena Kugblenu, and she's joined by funny man Gareth Waugh. So, in the news this week, limited edition Lorne sausage and brown sauce flavoured crisps will be hitting the shops this week. The company behind the crisps says it made sense to take a traditional Scottish breakfast food and add the flavour of Lorne sausage to it. New research suggests bread mould mutates its own DNA as a way of fighting off infections. Donald Trump has already asked if it's possible to inject people with Warburtons. And a woman who married her husband whilst she worked in his chip shop business has been given a £3.9 million divorce settlement. Her ex-husband said he felt betrayed and that it was like a tiny wooden fork in his back. That's one of my favourite jokes ever. You have met the panel, so let's crack on with round one. This is our broken news round, where our teams have to guess two major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline. So Miles and Jay, can you tell me the first story, please?
People in Scotland will be allowed to meet up with the First Minister in beer gardens and outdoor restaurants.
She also does all the cooking. That has been wonderful.
Nicola Sturgeon's plans include
staying home, keeping your distance, queuing, homeschooling, hand gel and face mask.
The First Minister has confirmed that
it has been life, Jim, but not as we know it.
She says there's good reasons behind that.
Any thoughts on it, Jay?
I think we're looking at the past 3 months of lockdown, Des, if I'm correct.
How are you getting on with it? It's been a wee while since we spoke. Are you all right?
Well, I'll tell you, Des, I've been on a journey with it because I think everybody has. Do you remember at the start when we were all really enthusiastic? We were all doing Joe Wicks and things like that. I couldn't tell you what Joe Wicks looks like now. If he's anything like the rest of us, he's stopped doing the workouts in the morning and he's now showing you how to make cocktails out of leftover carnation milk. That's what he's doing. And now, honestly, I just don't care anymore. I don't even think the muscles in my legs are strong enough to get me out of the house if I wanted to, and I certainly don't feel sociable, because have you spoken to anybody lately? Their chat is awful. I don't want to hear about the colour of your painted utility room. I'm going to self-isolate from now on.
Yeah, of course, it's the news. At the start of the week marked 3 months exactly since we went into lockdown. Feels just like yesterday. 3 months have come and gone. Miles, how's your lockdown been?
Well, the high point, I think, was when we repainted the utility room. Honestly, absolutely, you would not believe the colour. Very, very proud of it. Also, there's things where you can't really. We've got a one-way system for pedestrians at the moment. There's some street works going on, and it's just created total chaos. I've never seen it. Basically, shoppers are being kettled by a water company. And it's unbelievable. It looks like the sort of Grosvenor Square demonstrations or something.
Athena, what about you? Have the last few months of lockdown been a good experience? How are you feeling coming out the other side?
I've had a tough time. I fall into one of the groups of people that didn't really benefit from any government assistance. I'm sure you're aware that you weren't allowed to furlough your kids. You have to keep them. I kind of thought, great, they're giving people 80% of their salaries. Maybe they do 80% of the childcare. I thought maybe they'd evacuate them like they did during the war and put them somewhere, I don't know, like in a field, and they could fend for themselves. But no, every day the child is still here. So it's 3 months. I mean, she's lovely, but, still. Come on, Boris. You know what I mean?
Step up. Gareth, what about you? What's your experience been like?
I've been all right. I do feel for people with kids, and it sounds hard, definitely. Like, I was speaking to one of my friends, and they were saying that with the homeschooling, one of the things they were asked to do was to write an essay of all the things that they were missing during lockdown. And I thought it was one of the cruelest things I think I've ever heard. Like, I don't know how you make a goth, but I reckon that's it.
Have you learned any lessons about yourself during lockdown?
I think a big discovery for me was finding out that alcohol can be delivered to my door faster than I can go and get it, which is something that I'm extremely glad I only discovered recently, or else I'd already have been in lock-up, never mind lockdown.
And what about you, Athena? In terms of trying to take a positive out of all of this, is there anything you can grasp to that makes you feel positive about the experience?
Absolutely. They ran out of EastEnders episodes, which I think is wonderful.
Hey!
You know, it's like, finally, it's over, right? When they said, "Oh, we've run out," I was like, "This is brilliant! Like, this is an upside."
I'd very, very happily be in it should the call somewhat unexpectedly come.
Oh yeah. So would I. Don't get me wrong. If that call comes, I'd happily play a part in it.
I'd settle for River City for myself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if we're all just
Stefan
wanting to
Dennis.
put our CVs on the radio, then
Oh, yeah. Actually, tell you what, why don't we start with what we wouldn't do? Because I reckon that would be a lot shorter.
Yes, it is, of course, the journey out of lockdown. 3 months since the start of lockdown is the right answer. Well done, Miles and Jay. You get 2 points for that. So we're looking at a second part of our mashup then. Athena, any ideas what we might be talking about?
That sounds like the easing of lockdown restrictions in Scotland and England.
Absolutely, it certainly is. What about you? Do you think they're happening at the right pace then?
No, not now the weather's good. I would have delayed it all until October, November time. It's very inconvenient. I just bought a load of Magnums and Mars ice cream bars, and now they're telling me to go back to work. I don't think so. Okay, they had plenty of time to do this when I had the heating on.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's happening a little too soon to me.
Yes, this is the news that First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has laid out plans this week for a further lifting of restrictions, including bars, restaurants and hairdressers, as well as confirming plans for Scottish schools to return full-time in August. Nicola Sturgeon has kept, for the moment, the 2-metre rule here in Scotland, whereas Boris Johnson has reduced it to 1 in England, as he hopes that that will allow him to fit all his children in his garden. Gareth, what about yourself then? Do you think that this is about time, or do you think maybe it's still a little bit too fast now?
honestly, I've no clue. Like, time is so meaningless during lockdown. All the days blend into one, especially, you know, when we've got like all these on-demand services like Netflix and Disney Plus and the like. Although, you know how they break down everything into like categories? I saw one the other day and it said raunchy comedy. And I was like, who's sat like you like to your pal? Oh, would you fancy watching? And they're like, oh, a raunchy comedy? You'd be like, get out of my house.
Leave now.
Well, I'd like Netflix to hurry up and start releasing more raunchy tragedies. To cater to that need. I think it's the kind of the vaccine thing. It takes as long as it takes to have a vaccine, but that's the thing you want to happen quickly. And I kind of think we get told about it when it's not happening, and they shouldn't mention the word vaccine unless it's definitely going to be good news. In the way that, you know, you don't say the word walk near your dog until it's definitely time to go for a walk, because it gets too excited. And we as a nation, if I can call us that, are sort of collectively standing under the hook with the lead on barking, and we will stay in that state until you know, we can be pumped full of drugs and sent back to the opera.
Pumped full of drugs and sent back to the opera would be the perfect title for a raunchy tragedy.
Absolutely would, wouldn't it? Yeah. Oh, sorry, just had a big old stag night flashback. Yeah.
So what about it then, Jay? Do you think it's happening now too quickly, or do you think actually it's about the right time? Let's ease lockdown a bit more.
I get that people are getting frustrated, and that has been the lovely thing about being back home in Greenock, because they opened the range in Greenock the other day, and people in Greenock were very excited. And they queued for 2 hours, and on the very first day they arrested a shoplifter. And what I love about that is it's just so beautifully my hometown that a guy was so desperate after 14 weeks of not being able to get a 5-finger bargain that he waited in line for 2 hours to go and shoplift.
That's dedication, Jay, isn't it? I love the phrase 5-finger bargain, which sounds like both a raunchy comedy and raunchy tragedy at the same time. Also, just to go into a bit of detail on some of the rules and the easings as well, we are allowed to meet up in groups of 8, and that has been met with great relief by many, particularly regular listener to this, Willie Rennie, as it now means the Scottish Lib Dems Autumn Conference can officially go ahead. So, good good news for some. And Gareth, what about this? People saying the big moment is going to be that first day where the pubs are open. What do you think that's going to be like?
The landscape's going to change big time. Like, you're going to start seeing queues for the men's toilets as the amount of guys that have started washing their hands will have increased.
Athena, what about you? Can you picture a pub opening and what that's going to be like? They're trying to say social distancing will still be in place. I don't know how that'll work.
I've never been a huge fan of pubs. I think we're highly overstating their popularity in this country. Pubs are just places that smell of warm beer and farts to me.
What about you, Miles?
Each to their own.
Miles, are you looking forward to warm beer and farts?
Yeah, I mean that is the living room essentially. In terms of social distancing, I quite like the idea of people asking me inane questions about Balamory from slightly further away, and then I can pretend, then it's easier to pretend I can't hear them.
Well done to Athena and Gareth. Yes, you get 2 points for that. It was the mashup of 3 months in lockdown and the easing of restrictions. And at the end of that round, the teams are all square. Now, so much of our news is about public opinion. So obviously we're not out and about in the streets with microphones right now, but we have caught up with two very good friends of the programme. We spoke to crime writer Val McDermid and my pal comedian Jim Smith. Right, Athena and Gareth, what story do you think our Jim is on about here?
My friends and family love doing this because it gives them something to talk about for the rest of the year. I think folk are really excited about this because only a few weeks ago you could only go at the end of your road. You couldn't even go and visit your granny. I'm worried folk see my kind of farmer tan lines. I'm a bit peely-wally, so I look like a bit like a fab ice cream if I do taps off.
Well, it sounded like he's talking about being able to travel and potentially going on holidays as well.
It's the changing face of travel and holidays, with the UK government set to announce quarantine-free air corridors to countries such as France, Spain and Turkey, but with unrestricted foreign travel. Now, before flying, passengers are recommended to check with the airline if face coverings are compulsory, and if they are, they should also make a wee face mask to put on your passport photo so it still matches your actual face. That's just a bit of free advice for you there. Miles, what about yourself? Are you itching to get abroad? Would you feel confident to do that?
No, I think it would be completely demented. I just think the whole experience it wouldn't feel quite like a holiday, would it? If you've got to sort of follow isolation rules and lockdown and putting. If you wear a mask at a nudist beach, as far as I'm concerned, it's no longer a nudist beach. You know, everything's been ruined. That's what I'm saying.
Obviously, in light of this, there is still a lack of confidence about travelling abroad, so the staycation is becoming more of a popular idea. What about you, Jay? Where would you fancy going for a staycation?
Well, I've come to my parents, and by staycation I mean stay, because we've had to sell the flat. We've not told them yet. Say goodbye to your spare room, Jim, Dad.
Athena, what about you? Anywhere you fancy around these parts for a staycation?
I've done staycations in Scotland. I've been to the west coast of Scotland. I've been to Oban and Isle of Skye.
Oh, wow.
And I learnt loads. Did you know that when you go hiking, there's poo everywhere? I didn't know this because I'm from North London. It was really traumatic. For like the first day, everyone was like, I was just tiptoeing, and everyone was like, Athena, why are you tiptoeing? And I was like, well, there's poo everywhere, and everyone laughed at me.
Athena's given me a great idea, because obviously we're trying to encourage people to holiday in Scotland. So let's try and come up with a new slogan for Visit Scotland that's going to get the tourists flooding in. Athena, you go first in this. What have you got?
Visit Scotland, we don't really vote Tory or Labour. That makes me happy. I think that's what makes Scotland sexy to me. That's what makes, having a third way. That third way. I'm so jealous of your third way, guys. It's just.
I didn't know Scotland's sexiest feature was rejection of the Westminster two-party system, but that is.
Honestly, it turns me right on. I'm telling you.
Jay, what about you? Have a think about this. A new slogan to boost Scottish tourism. What are we going for?
Scotland, the only country in the world where wearing face masks has improved our sex lives.
Gareth, I'll finish with you, my friend. What about this? What should be our slogan?
Well, the current Visit Scotland slogan is Welcome to Scotland. I don't know if you knew that. And it cost £125,000 to come up with that.
No!
That's true. So I thought maybe just something simple like moan in.
Nice. Moan in. I like that. That's great. Miles and Jay, your turn now. Here's Val McDermott. What is she talking about here?
This is a key part of my life. My family will not talk to me until I have done this. In our household, it's a kind of religion, and we have several devices that can deliver our fix. I think the message of this story is that we're making mugs out of ourselves.
Is the story about whether or not coffee is necessary or just something that we enjoy? There's that sort of increased in people go, I can't function without it, I can't get through the morning without it.
Absolutely the right answer, yes. It's the news that a leading biochemist has busted the biggest myths around energy, including whether you really need coffee to function in the morning. I don't know about you, but I've actually been enjoying the occasional Irish coffee during lockdown. If you don't know what an Irish coffee is, it's where the milk and coffee are separated by a highly disputed border. It's a lovely drop. Miles, are you a coffee drinker? Do you think it's essential to get yourself going in the morning?
I like it, but I think we probably drink too much. I think lattes are dangerous. So basically, you're going around sort of drinking an entire pint of milk that enters your body as a semi-solid. You think, oh, why do I put on 3 stone over the winter? Oh, I know, it's because I'm drinking milk as if I'm a cat.
Jay, what about you? Are you a coffee drinker? Does it get you going?
No, I have a weird thing with caffeine, so I can't drink coffee, but my husband's morning coffee is it's absolutely essential to my mental health. One day during lockdown we ran out of coffee and I had to electrocute him before he had a proper conversation with me.
What about you, Athena? Are you into your morning coffee?
I used to be. I used to drink litres of coffee, and then one day I smiled, and even though the room was dark, my smile lit up the room. My teeth were that yellow. So I had to quit drinking coffee. I was drinking too much of it.
I mean, the difference between a good coffee and a bad one is massive. It's not something that I'm personally overly concerned about myself because, I've got a personality.
If not coffee, then what is it that gets you through the day?
Soda Stream.
Really?
Soda Stream is like living in the 80s in this house, honestly. I bought a Soda Stream recently and it changed my life. I will never go back to still tea, if I'm honest.
Miles, what about yourself then? If not coffee, is there anything else that can get you through the day?
I don't really know how I do get through the day sometimes. I'm not saying that I have a particularly hard lot, but sometimes you think, God, it's only 2 o'clock. Because bedtime in our house for the children basically runs from 7 until 10. Okay,
right.
Which is what? That's longer than Braveheart, isn't it? I mean, it's just this real ordeal. And I think the thing that keeps me going is just the thought at some point at the end of the day there's going to be sort of a bit of calm where I'll sit in a chair and read a book or I'll watch something. And that's really all it is. A bit like life, really. I mean, at one point this will all end. And that's the thing that keeps me going.
On that positive note, you have been listening to Breaking the News.
But,
If you've been affected by any of the issues that Miles has spoken about, then please just drink some coffee and everything will be okay in the end. Gareth, what about you? If not coffee, what gets you through the day?
I'm kind of the opposite to Miles. I like that you said, Miles, that you're like, oh God, it's only 2. Because I'd go, oh God, it's only 2. I'd be like, oh, there's so much more day left.
What, you just find energy within to get you through?
I've got this thing called youth.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
Yes, myths around the morning coffee is the correct answer. 2 points go to Miles and Jay. Woo! Woo! You're tuned to the At Home Breaking the News on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clark. Now, this round is all about who's in the news. I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. So, Miles and Jay, you're first this time. Who is this?
I think it's part of being in Washington these days. I think if you don't have a thick skin, maybe you ought to think about another line of work.
Any ideas who it might belong to, Jay?
Yes, it belongs to President Donald Trump's former National Security Advisor, John Bolton, who has written a funny wee book about him.
It's a funny wee book, absolutely. It is former US National Security Advisor John Bolton in the news this week after he became the latest former Donald Trump aide to publish a tell-all book about working for the president. Mr. Trump has said the book is made up of lies and fake stories. As for John Bolton, Bolton. We know quite a bit about him. Fact is that he graduated from Yale and as such was allowed to cut keys at Timpson's. That's John Bolton. Should we listen to him? Is this him shining a light on the president, or is he just an ex-employee with an axe to grind? What do you think?
I should imagine anyone that has worked with Donald Trump would have cause to be disgruntled in some way. I mean, that must be, we think some of the people we work with are difficult. He is, obviously he's a misunderstood man, isn't he? But that's because he's completely incomprehensible. But even the way he's criticising the Bolton thing, the idea is saying, oh, this book is full of lies. If it's full of lies, then it's obviously not an issue in a way. If it was full of truths, then it would be in contravention of sort of confidentiality laws and stuff. So it can't be both. But essentially, Trump's got upset because Trump is a book person. He likes cataloguing, he likes categorization, and it saddens him, I think, as someone who could so easily have ended up being a librarian if his life had been slightly different and he hadn't been burdened by that inheritance that forced him to abandon his dreams. He's just crossed that a work of fiction has ended up in the non-fiction section. And that is what is at the heart of this.
Just one man's thwarted ambition, Miles, for a career that he could have had.
He could have had. It's not unlike Flashdance.
Such an amazing reference. And then obviously we've got Joe Biden, who seems to be gathering momentum. Certainly his poll numbers seem to be rising. Do we think then that Biden is the candidate that can beat Trump this year in the US presidential elections?
Oh, come on. We're all going to be surprised if Joe Biden actually makes the election. Every time I see him, I have a craving for a Werther's Original.
Yeah, I've seen people describing Joe Biden as a better prospect. And I think that better is quite a strong word. Like, he's better in the same way that eating a cigarette is probably better than smoking one.
Look, not to be ageist, but I look at Trump and I look at Biden and I think, shouldn't they just both be shielding? Like, is this the best we can do? This should be so easy. Just don't be Donald Trump. Just not being him makes you qualified to be president now.
Yes. 2 points to Miles and G. That was former presidential advisor John Bolton. Right, your turn now. Athena and Gareth, who is this and why are they in the news?
But rather than getting angry with you, I actually feel like you need a hug. So here I am giving you a big hug.
I know exactly who that is. That's Davina McCall, and she's on telly because Big Brother's back.
You've got the right story. Well done. It's the news that Davina McCall is back on our screens with a new programme, looking back at the best bits from iconic reality show Big Brother. We all remember one of the most iconic characters, the one we loved to hate, was Nasty Nick. Yep, he was the one that lied to voters about tuition fees, then took a job with Facebook. Sorry, that's Nick Clegg. Would you like to see Big Brother back?
No, I don't understand why people in lockdown want to watch Big Brother. That's the same sort of people that watch Professional MasterChef when they're having cheesy beans for their tea. I just didn't get it at all.
Not a fan then, no?
I mean, I caught a couple of the celebrity ones, and I know you're going to regale us with your George Galloway.
Would you like me to be the cat? It was unbelievable. That for me is the best moment ever in telly. Just people think 2020 is a weird year. Go back to that. That's the moment. Yeah, weird, brilliant. Athena, what about you? Do you have a favourite reality TV moment?
I do, and I'm thrilled to share it because I never really had the opportunity to talk about it. It's John Sargent doing a Paso Doble on Strictly, and I don't know if you watched it at the time. Bruno Tonioli, I think, has the best way with words. He should be a comedian, and John Sargent does this thing where he drags his partner along the floor as part of the dance, and Bruno said it was like he was taking out the recycling.
Well, obviously we're now looking back at reality shows and thinking of what telly might emerge after lockdown, so there might be an avenue to produce a new reality TV show. If so, what would it be?
I'd like Love Island, but all the contestants are pensioners. Like, do you know what I mean? So they could be like, oh, I'd like to couple up with this person because they still have one of their original hips.
Miles, what about you? If you were to invent or create a new reality show, what would it be?
I think it would be a show where people that we associate with being sort of very calm and measured, who does Scott Sport? What's he called?
Is it Dougie Donnelly?
Dougie Vipond?
Or Dougie Vipond?
Dougie Vipond. These people that seem sort of very calm and charming, you put them in an environment where they have to make a printer work. That I just want to watch people that seem calm absolutely losing it, because I know I would feel slightly better about myself.
And of course, we're looking at the best bits of Big Brother. One famous Big Brother moment was when Scottish contestant Sandy, do we remember this, escaped the house. He was, of course, let back in again after claiming he just went to Barnard Castle to test his eyesight. Davina McCall and Big Brother is the right answer, and 2 points go to Athena and Gareth. Woo! Woo, 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 woo. And it's time now for our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. I will read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. So get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
This is serious business.
That is Barack Obama completely misunderstanding what we do here on Breaking the News. Right, let's go, teams. 70% of people did what during lockdown?
Did they lie face down on the floor of the sitting room for an hour, muttering, "I honestly thought I would cope better with this"?
The actual answer is 70% of people did what during lockdown, and it is made video calls. There you go. What turns 50 years old this week?
2020.
Feels like it, doesn't it? Oh. What turns 50 years old this week?
It's the medication my mum has in her bathroom cupboard.
What turns 50 years old this week?
World's oldest baby.
The actual answer is that Glastonbury Music Festival turned 50 years old this week.
This is serious business.
And that is our klaxon, and Barack has Obama'd. At the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Athena Cook-Blenu and Gareth Wall! Woo! Hey! Woo! 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 And commiserations to Miles Jupp and Jay Lafferty! Hey! Woo! Woo! Hey! Woo! 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 And we'll leave you with the breaking news just in. Just one of Edinburgh Zoo's famous Gen 2 penguins has been allowed to pick a partner and have chicks this year. Rejected penguins were consoled by staff who said there's plenty more fish in the sea and you can have some of them for your dinner. Apple have announced users will be able to unlock their cars with their smartphones. Great news if you steal phones, because they now come with a free car. And Strictly Come Dancing will return to BBC One this autumn, but the 2020 series will be slightly shorter than usual due to the coronavirus pandemic. So this year's dances will include the cha-cha, the can and the military one-step. The news is broken. I've been Des Clark. Goodbye. Woo!